Hello everybody, and welcome to the Consuming Shadow Insanity Edition by Ben Yahtzee Croshaw. Now, if the title didn't already explain it all, allow me to give you a brief overview. The Consuming Shadow is a Lovecraftian roguelike game, where you as the protagonist is tasked to stop an elder god from invading your world within 60 hours. Sounds fun, right? Yeah, but seriously, this game is by no means for the faint of heart. So, turn back now if you're afraid of monsters under your bed. But anyway, for those of you sticking around, let's get started. January 20th, 2015. Something made me check for patterns in the runes. I don't know why, but I'm glad I did. A massive synchronization is coming, centered on Stonehenge, in roughly 60 hours. One hope remains, the ritual of banishment. 4 runes encanted at Stonehenge will close the gateway. The trouble is, I don't know what the ritual is. If I investigate the strange events heralding the shadow, maybe I can piece it together. That's all I have. A maybe. And we start exactly as we mean to go on, with dark tones in the writing, with foreshadowing towards a horrible cosmic future that will more than likely have apocalyptic repercussions on humanity, and the kill myself button. I really like the kill myself button. It fits the Lovecraft theme well, I think. Also, you'll notice a few tabs on the bottom left for files, diary, and logbook. We'll come back to those later. And just like that, we're dropped right into the game. We're told immediately that we have 60 hours left, and we receive a text from the Ministry of Occultism. These text messages are more of a minor gameplay mechanic in this game. Essentially, they boil down to tutorial tips from the Ministry of Occultism, the occasional message from family or friend, and the occasional message from the evil bad guys who are trying to drain your sanity. Some people will even send you money on occasion. You can choose to look at or ignore these, but at the end of the day, it's really a dice toss. It could be something really good, a couple of extra bucks in your pocket that you're going to need, or it could be something really bad, like a massive sanity drop. I'll come back to the concept of sanity later. For the moment, however, we have our first investigation. The investigations in these games are started when you enter a tainted town. A tainted town is an area in the game that has been affected and corrupted by the approaching Elder God. And when you investigate a tainted town, you will inevitably stumble upon a dungeon, which often has a singular objective you must complete, sometimes 2 or 3, that, when completed, will yield a reward. Often this reward is clues to who the invading god is, part of the banishment ritual you need to finish the boss, or occasionally spells and whatnot. And there are often other items, money, bullets, some equipment items, but we'll get to all those later. But right now, we just got our first clue. And using this clue, we can put it on the clue table. The clue table, which allows us to organize all the clues we have to determine which god goes where, what that god is doing. Because there is 3 of them. We are dealing with 3 elder gods here. Now, this isn't a game where you collect 10 clues and now you know who the invader is, go stop them. This is, here's all your clues, here's your table to put them on, figure it out. Unfortunately, this does come with the issue of, you can have extremely clue-deficient runs. When you play through this game, and you will be playing through it a few times, it is a roguelike, you will occasionally just end up in runs where you get nothing but equipment, or you get the banishment ritual really early, or a lot of spells. In that case, you don't have a lot of clues, and you don't know, you can't really figure out exactly who you're dealing with. But that's part of the fun, I guess. You can just go in and try and banish the Elder God with just a guess. Just hope you guess right, or you're in for an unpleasant time, you and your character. A very, very unpleasant time. Alright, now let's talk about the music. The music in The Consuming Shadow is good. Sounds pretty nice. Fits the overall theme and tone of The Consuming Shadow quite well. Lots of dark, bassy, slimy undertones provides to the whole experience. Music almost sounds sick in a way, if that's an appropriate way to describe music. And I really like the piano sound they have play through it. I think I remember reading somewhere that that sound was procedurally generated within the song, so it's random when it occurs. Which I think is a pretty cool way to do the music, actually. And it may interest some of you to know that the music was done by Mark Hadley, the guy who did the music for Slender and stuff. Although this game is not much like Slender at all, really, as you've probably already seen just watching it here. Except for the tall man. But I'm pretty sure the tall man predates Slender by like 6 years or something like that. Well, let's talk about the major sticking point a lot of people have before they buy this game. Usually from what I've read, it's the graphics. Most people don't care for them. And I can kind of see why. The animation is rather simplistic. You can look at the car dashboard right now and it only looks kind of alright. Passable. But The Consuming Shadow is not really about the graphics. It's an atmosphere experience. A writing and storytelling experience, really. In that regard, slightly comparable to Undertale. Although significantly less famous than Undertale. It is a shame that a lot of people that are interested in this game get put off by the graphics. Because, realistically, this is probably the best Lovecraft-themed game there is. I haven't played a whole lot, mainly because I haven't found any. Really, it's an extremely undersaturated market. There's a few I've seen on Steam, but none of them really caught my eye the same way this one did. None of them really seemed to quite get Lovecraft on how you are a tiny, insignificant speck fighting against something that barely even registers your existence. And if it does, it's 'cause it hates you. But hell, I'm willing to be proven wrong. If anybody knows of any Lovecraft-themed games that are, comparable to this one, then, leave a comment. Suggest a few. Maybe I'll check it out. Alright, so let's talk about the sanity meter. The sanity meter in this game is done basically the same way it's done in every other game with a sanity meter. For example, Amnesia: The Dark Descent and Eternal Darkness. Generally, it just makes the screen go weird. You get spots on the screen, you'll occasionally hallucinate enemies, and you'll get the screen will often go staticky. These effects increase the further you get along your sanity meter. However, sanity plays a slightly bigger role in this game, as is, depending on your sanity, changes which ending you get in certain circumstances. There are a lot of endings to this game. There are 6, maybe 7, if memory serves. I'm not going to show you any of them because, well, they're the endings. Why would you want to play the game if you already know what the endings are like? But ultimately, the sanity in this game isn't a big deal. The spots and the static on the screen are completely ignorable for the most part. The hallucinations can get a bit weird, but at the worst case scenario, they make you waste a bullet, I guess. Alright, let's touch on something I mentioned earlier. The equipment in this game. Equipment affects quite a few things. Some equipment will nullify the chance of you getting a status effect, like a broken arm, leg, anxiety, bleeding. All 4 of which, well, except for anxiety, are incredibly annoying. Broken legs will make sure you can't run anymore without losing sanity. Broken arms make sure you can't shoot anymore or melee combat anymore without losing sanity. The bleeding doesn't really affect you in dungeons, but while you drive, you lose health, which is incredibly frustrating. Because there's only so much medkit that can go around, and a long drive, that can kill you. And anxiety just makes your shots miss more. Makes your hands shake. So, kind of meh. Plus it goes away really easily, unlike the rest. But items in the game, well, equipment, specifically equipment, allows you to nullify these effects. Some increase item drops, like the Lucky Charm. Some of them making it easier to cast spells, like the Rosary or the Pentagram Necklace. And some were kind of useless, like the flashlight. Makes it bright all the time. I never use the flashlight, personally. And the exhaust muffler, which lets you encounter less events on the road while you drive. Which is a good and bad thing, because events on the road can potentially give you really good rewards, but can potentially go really bad too. Also, a lot of the events on the road are affected by equipment, because you're often given 3 choices. The first 2 are random chance of going good or bad, flip a coin basically. But if you have the item, a guaranteed good result and a significantly bigger reward than the random good result. Which is nice. I believe that's borrowed heavily from FTL, because FTL had a similar thing, except instead of equipment you had ship upgrades. Well, I suppose that more or less wraps this up, actually. In summary, The Consuming Shadow is a atmospheric story-based game. Its gameplay is just kind of alright for the most part, but it's an interesting concept, one that's not used enough in video games today in my opinion. But yeah, that's about it. Stay tuned for the next episode, where I'll be playing the polar opposite of The Consuming Shadow. Now if you'll excuse me, I shall kill myself.